right, when you are solving multiplication and division equations, again, the idea here is that you isolate the variable. You want to get the variable by itself so that you just have a m equals and then your answer. So in this particular problem, we have 3 times m is equal to 12. We have the left and we have the right side of the equation. And so remember, whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. And since m is being multiplied by 3, to solve it, I'm going to divide by 3. So I'm going to divide this side by 3, and then I'm going to divide this side by 3. These 3's cancel out. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1 times m is simply m. So that's what I mean by these cancel out. 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4. So m is equal to 4. Alright, so now if we have 2.5 times m is equal to negative 7.5, again we want to isolate the variable, so we're going to divide both sides by 2.5. Again, these 2.5's cancel out, leaving me with an m over here is equal to negative 7.5 divided by 2.5. When you have problems like this, you still just have to follow your decimal rules. Now, because I'm dividing a negative by a positive, I know that my answer is going to be negative. So now I've got 7.5 divided by 2.5. And remember, when you're dividing, you cannot have a whole decimal on the outside. You need to make it a whole number, so I'm going to move my decimal one place. Well, since I moved this one place, I need to move the one that's on the inside one place as well. And then it just goes straight up in my answer. 25 goes into 75 3 times. 3 times 25 is 75. So that means that 25 goes into 75 3 times evenly. So my answer is negative 3. So in this problem, m is equal to negative 3. And I know I'm right because 2.5 times negative 3 is equal to negative 7.5. Now, on problems where you are dividing, again, you're going to do the opposite. So I've got two sides here to my equation. M is being divided by negative 4. So to solve this, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 4. My negative 4's cancel out over here, so I'm left with m is equal to negative 2.1 times negative 4. Well, a negative times a negative is positive, so I know my answer is going to be positive. So I'm going to do a little bit of math over here off to the side. 2.1 times 4, and I end up with 8.4. So m is equal to 8.4. And again, it's positive because it's a negative times a negative. Now with fractions, you can do it the same way. You can think of, okay, well, m is being multiplied by 3/4, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3/4. But essentially what you are doing is multiplying by the reciprocal. So a little trick here is to say, well, if I multiply both sides by 4 over 3, 4 times 4 is 12, 3 times 4 is 12. So when I end up with 12 over 12, because that's equal to 1, I can cancel all that out. So again, I'm multiplying by the reciprocal, but I've got to do it to both sides. And that's a 4 right there. So I'm left with m on the left side. So I have m is equal to 2 times 4, which is 8, 9 times 3, which is 27. And then if you could simplify that, you would, but 8 over 27 cannot be simplified. If you prefer to think of it the other way, let's see, the problem was 3/4 m equals 2/9. So let me try another way. Okay, so if I have 3/4 m is equal to 2/9. If you want to think about it the other way, it just doesn't look as nice, but I just want to show you that it's essentially the same thing. 3/4 times m, it means I'm going to divide both sides by 3/4. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3/4. This all cancels out, leaving me with m is equal to 2/9 divided by 3/4. Well, remember when we're dividing fractions that we keep, change, flip, or that we're multiplying by the reciprocal. So we keep the 2/9, change that to multiplication, and then we flip the 3/4. Or we can think of it as we're multiplying by the reciprocal. We'll see how we have 2/9 times 4 over 3 down here. if you go back up to how I was telling you to multiply by the reciprocal, that's what you're doing here too. So either way, essentially, they're the same thing. It's just two different ways of thinking about it.